Hey, welcome to another episode. Today I'm talking to you about the fact that this arrived last week, and after 2 years I'm finally going back to London to see my family and to see the city that I am from. But I feel a little bit anxious about it, and this is what I wanted to talk about in today's video, because I think when you are experiencing something for the first time, or even if it has been a long time since you have experienced something, it's very normal to have feelings of anxiety. And I just wanted to talk about those today with you. And in a way, I hope it can help you if you're experiencing something similar about a very different situation. So let's get into the video. So let's talk about it. Why am I feeling apprehensive about returning back to the UK? I think it's twofold. On the one hand, there's the superficial level, which is the fact that I know my city has changed in 2.5 years. I know that London obviously is different to how I remember it as being, because the last time that I was in the UK was in January 2020, which was literally just weeks before the pandemic hit. And I know that, a lot of businesses have been impacted as a result of the pandemic, and some shops that I used to go to and places that I used to like to visit didn't survive, unfortunately. And so there's that superficial aspect. Also, it's the fact that I'm literally going to be exploring London like a tourist. London is a very fast-paced city, and if you spend a decent amount of time outside of it, when you return, you constantly feel like you're catching up with any changes or developments that have happened whilst you've been away. So there's that aspect of it as well. But also it's on a much deeper level, because when I was last in the UK, January 2020, it was literally just a week or so after I had left hospital following my breakdown in Palermo. And I was processing a lot of different emotions at that time. I had lots of questions. I didn't have any answers. All I knew was that I wanted to stay in Italy. And I think when you factor that into the equation, I was a completely different person to the woman that you see sitting here today. And my life has completely 360'd. It's completely transformed in 2.5 years, which is phenomenal considering we've had a pandemic and all of the uncertainty that has come on the back of that. So I think it's really beautiful for me to sit here now knowing that I have this YouTube channel, knowing that I wrote this book, Wake Up to Your Worth, which I wrote a few months after I had my breakdown during the pandemic, and is being featured in an exhibition this summer in Palermo, which I'm overjoyed about. Knowing that I've achieved this, knowing that I have found my feet, knowing that I found myself as a person and I feel completely transformed is phenomenal. But of course, going back to London is going to bring up some of those old feelings. I think it's natural, especially because there has been a long period of time since the last time that I was there. So I think it's just overcoming this, but recognizing that these feelings are totally normal. And unfortunately, I have to confess, I've been spending a lot of time in these expat groups where people have recently visited London, and I'm hearing lots of different things that are not making me feel good. So, I have to take my own advice here. When I tell you to exercise caution in these Facebook groups, I need to be listening to myself as well when I'm saying this, because it can be very easy to get caught up in the negativity of other people and their experiences, and sometimes it's at the detriment of you and your own potential experience. So I think it's lots of different factors that have led me to this point, but I of course am super excited to go back. I think it's going to be amazing to discover London with a fresh set of eyes, especially because I feel I've changed so much as a person in this period. Like, I've been living in Italy for 4 years now, but really I would say the last 2 years I've really found myself. And so for this to now go back to London in this place, I think is going to feel phenomenal. And of course, when I do go back, I'm going to be filming lots of different vlogs, taking you around London, showing you where I like to go. So don't worry, you'll be coming on the trip with me. I feel very happy that this moment has arrived. And for any of you that might be living in Italy who watch this and are British, I can tell you that the process of renewing my passport was so smooth. It took 4 weeks from sending the passport back to the UK to receiving it in my hand last week. So if you are apprehensive about receiving your passport remotely, please rest assured, provided you send your documents with the correct courier, you will have no problems whatsoever. So, I think it's just proof that alone, even just dealing with the administrative process of renewing my passport, is proof enough that a situation can feel very daunting when you consider it and when you think about it. And as a result, sometimes we procrastinate and we take no action in our lives because the situation just feels very overwhelming or confusing, or you literally don't know where to begin. But when you start to take those steps and that action, often the situation was nowhere near as complicated or difficult as you had imagined it would be. I use obviously the process of my passport as a very obvious example. I procrastinated for weeks about sending it back because I was so nervous. I was like, oh my goodness, like, what if it doesn't arrive? It's such an important document. What if I don't receive it back? What if there's a problem? What if, right? And, you know, I was just blown away. My passport arrived the very next day from Italy to the UK. And then I had like a period of 2 weeks where I was like, oh my goodness, they haven't confirmed receipt. I'm getting anxious, even though I've got this delivery receipt. I want the confirmation from the government passport office. But yes, 2 weeks later, they confirmed it. And then literally it was regular updates until the passport was back in my hand. So the process wasn't anywhere near as scary as I'd imagined it would be. And it applies to you as well if you're thinking of moving to Italy. I know a lot of you that watch my channel, this is what you want to do and what you're considering doing. And I can only tell you that you just have to start. You have to begin, take the steps, because when it's all up here in your mind, it feels a lot bigger, a lot more complicated than it may actually be. Now, I know a few of you have reached out to me, especially on Instagram, asking about work opportunities from the UK to Italy. I'm actually going to be recording this week a video with someone who I think will be able to give you some advice about the whole visa situation, because that's right, you will need a visa now when you are living here in Italy, unless you are able to prove that you can financially support yourself. But that aside, I'm actually recording a video this week about that, so I will let you know when it is live, and I will post the link below when that happens. But I just think you just have to take the steps to make stuff happen and not keep it up here where it seems really big and really overwhelming, and not listen to all the negativity that might be around you in expat groups. You just have to take the steps to make it happen. And I think I'm practicing this for myself regarding returning to London. I'm not going to listen to the negativity of other people talking about their experiences in London recently, or the travel there, or the travel back, or anything like this. I'm creating my own story, because essentially that is what I've done since I moved here like 4 years ago. I created my own story. I didn't have any experiences like the people had told me I would have. So I think, you know, I just have to keep focused on that. And I have to focus on the magic of what this moment in London is going to bring for me. It's going to really highlight for me just how I've reset my life. And I think that is going to be a very special moment for me, to see just how far I've come in 2 and a bit years, and how even though you can be at the lowest moment in your life, you can always pick yourself up and start again and build something better for yourself. So I don't know who needed to hear this, but I hope some of you did. If you don't already know, this is my book. You can find the link below if you want to purchase it from Amazon. I want to close this video with a little excerpt from my book. I have never read my book publicly before, although I will be reading some extracts this summer at my exhibition. But I am going to read to you a little extract that I think can help you sometimes when you are in a bit of a moment where you're all in your head. Okay, so this is the extract I want to read to you. It's actually from life lesson number 25, which is listen inwards. And this is what I want to read to you today. When we make a commitment to ourselves to listen deep within, things start to shift. We begin to trust in ourselves more, in the way life plays out, and in the experiences we have. We start to understand that within us is a pool of guidance that can help us to navigate life. We place less attention on the opinions of others and more on how we deep down feel about things. We ultimately begin to step up and into our infinite power. So, words of wisdom for you and for me too. And I will see you in the next video. Ciao for now.